Good morning. Welcome to the 2017 Junior Roller Derby Association Championships Day 3 Sunday, Championship Sunday.
Championship Sunday.
And we are on the open division track. I'm Double H here with my friend Al B. How you doing this morning, Al?
Wonderful, wonderful. Has this been a fun weekend or what?
This has been amazing. I think a lot of people have been asking me, well, you know, you're at the JRDA Championships this weekend. Are you feeling like this is the future of our sport? And I'm telling you, some of the kids this weekend are better than a lot of the athletes I see right now competing at an adult level, the WFTDA and the MRDA. So it's not even the future. It's the right now.
That's absolutely what I was going to say is I've used for a long time, folks, if you're not involved in Junior Roller Derby, you should be because it is the future of our sport. And you said something the first day we were here talking in the conversation. And whereas in reality the future is now, and that's absolutely the truth. The future is now, and if you have not had a chance to watch games tonight, go ahead and just jump on the feed. I know, or go get somebody and say, get over my house and watch it. Have your watch party and do your little hashtag JRD watch party.
That's
but
right.
You've got to do this and check out because the future of our sport is going down right here today. We got 5 more games on each track.
Yep, including the one right here, Philly Roller Derby Juniors taking on Emerald City Junior Gems Reservoir Dolls. And now this is the 9th and 10th seed battling for position here, Al. So one team stands to gain position, the other stands to maintain position.
Correct. It's you know what, the seeding was correct. The 9 and 10 teams are playing for the 9 and 10 spots. This is
very well
good.
done.
We are underway.
We've got Unstoppable jamming for Philly. And jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, that is Psychotic Angel, number 13. Lead jammer status goes to Unstoppable.
Unstoppable has had a pretty impressive showing so far. A lot of these skaters, at this level, once you get here, all the teams that are here are super talented, and anybody could pull anything off at any time. But certainly each team has individuals that have had some pretty great showings at this tournament.
And there's going to be a timeout taken. That's an official timeout. This gives us a chance to go over the rosters really quickly. Why don't you read Philly?
All right, for Philly, excuse me, the number 9 seed, number 10, Rainbow Crash, number 101, TIE Fighter, number 115, Jenna Vendetta, 13, Unstoppable, 14, Rough Red, 15, Motley Drew, 17, Takedown Diva, 171, Tomahawk, 181, Maddie Longlegs, 20, Yaya the Destroyer, 31, Susan B. Anarchy, Hermione Mamer, I'm sure I mispronounced that.
Hermione Mamer.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Vegomatic, Boomerang, Harley Spin, and Anna, 888.
And that's Death Wish jamming for Reservoir Dolls. She's lead jammer. Anna's still hung up in the pack. A 3-wall from Philly back at turn 1, aiming to perform some defense. Some offense from the front smashes that 3-wall open for Death Wish. And Anna's still trying to break that pack, but additional points scored here from Death Wish. And that's going to be a 5-point pass.
10-4, Reservoir Dogs over Philly right now. Still early in the first game of the first game on the open track of day 3. I gave you Philly a second ago. I'll do a quick rundown of the team in white. That is Emerald City, number 00, Death Wish, number 04, Evelyn, 113, Block and Roll, 12, Psychotic Angel, 14, Gory Gory, Hallelujah, 16, Juke Skywalker, 22, Sour Patch, 26, 12, Scooby Smack, 27, Lethal Ivy, 33, Skinner, 44, Tipsy Terror, 711, Frecklenator, and 919, Rage Quick. Sorry.
Thanks, Al. That is Unstoppable, lead jammer for Philly, jamming against Juke Skywalker, who is taken all the way to the outside, now threading in a little apex hop. I believe our announcer Sugar calls that a baby apex jump. And Unstoppable grabbing points. And he's going to call it right away before a beautiful inside hit from Motley Drew sends Juke Skywalker flying.
Yeah, Motley Drew, it looked like Juke Skywalker had that lane open, but Motley Drew closed it in a hurry and sent him flying. Juke Skywalker is a very entertaining skater to watch, lots of power, and he is not afraid to get those wheels off the track in the air.
So a full complement of blockers here for Philly. There's one in the box for the Reservoir Dolls. Reservoir Dolls now in the lead, 14 over Philly 8. Just under about 3 minutes of gameplay have expired. So this is Rainbow Crash trying to make her way through the pack against Psychotic Angel, who comes up against Tomahawk, gets lead. Tom is forced to let her go. Rainbow Crash still trying to fight around the outside line, is able to do so. Is that being called as a cutting the track? It is not. And now there is a cutting the track on the far straightaway for Rainbow Crash. This is a power jam in favor of the Reservoir Dolls and Psychotic Angel.
That is an All About Derby power jam, as All About Derby here in the venue and sponsoring our power jams throughout the entire tournament.
Pack now between turns 3 and 4. Psychotic Angel scoring 5 points on that pass. So Philly's trying to grab this front line. There's an offense poised in the form of Scooby Smack on the inside. Nice clear there, but Tomahawk shuts down the inside line.
We will see Tomahawk a lot. If those of you that are used to seeing Philadelphia, Tomahawk will skate quite a bit, and for the Reservoir Dolls, you'll see Death Wish a lot, Psychotic Angel a lot, and Juke Skywalker, or their main three. But they do have, they're both pretty deep as far as skaters that you will see donning the star.
So Philly's going to grab the front line. They're trying to slow things down a bit. They're trying to use the pack behind them to create a bit of a thicker wall of defense, as it were. And jamming for Philly, Unstoppable through on the inside, almost untouched. And that's Death Wish jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. Taking to the inside by Boomerang and drawn back to the jammer line. Unstoppable did not get lead jammer status. He is in the penalty box. So I'm wondering if that is a cutting the track assessed. Boomerang escorting Death Wish all the way back towards the pivot line. This is a nice penalty kill here from Philly.
Yeah, excellent work. And Boomerang and number 20, Yaya the Destroyer, were really doing a job on the inside of Death Wish trying to get through the lane. Very impressive. And the Emerald City, the Reservoir Dolls, no stranger to tournament play. They finished 4th in the female division in last year's national championships in Lincoln, Nebraska.
And they definitely have that seasoned air about them. You can tell that they have a calm bench. They have a calm strategy. When things start to get a little bit hairy, they keep it on an even keel. Their bench is really positive. So they're a formidable team here.
Philly's like that too as well. They're coached by some WFTDA legends.
Absolutely. Teflon Donna and Devoid of Mercy are their bench managers and coaches.
I've had the honor of working with them quite a bit as they've come down a couple of times with the junior team at Philly to Frankie Pinky or to Spring Break Swarm into Tampa, coming playing at the Wrecking Hall. So I've more than most teams that I've got to deal with them quite a bit, and they're always fun to be around and I've had a chance over the last couple of years working with them on and off to watch these skaters grow, and it's just a fun thing.
We do have an injury. That's Rough Red, who is down on the track at the jammer line. That was a lead jammer status for Juke Skywalker, but the jam has been called short due to injury. So let's talk a little bit about how people can get in touch with us throughout this game.
Absolutely. If you'd like to talk to us or send us suggestions or just, I don't know, talk about how
talk about your awesome blazer.
Right. Talk about our it's second to Catman's Velvet Blazer. But if you'd like to do that, just do hashtag #talk2, the number 2, talk2 JRDA. Hashtag #talk2JRDA. We'll get the information feeds, and as it'll be either given to us or we'll see it, and then we'll get to hopefully communicate back to you some things and show some Derby love to you, or follow JRD on Twitter at JRD_rocks.
So the JRDA is doing something really awesome in terms of dues. They are really excited to have member organizations join them from around the world. And so JRDA is now offering membership registration structures just based on your country's local currency. which is awesome. So what this means is JRDA membership is $200 for leagues outside the U.S., and that's $200 of whatever your local currency is. So not $200 USD. So if your league is based in Canada, that's $200 Canadian. If a league is based in Australia, $200 Australian, and so on and so on. And I think that's
so if it's
awesome.
If it's in Japan and it's 200 yen, that's like $1.50, I think.
Yeah, Brad Example asked me the same thing yesterday.
Brad,
yes.
Brad, I took that from Brad. I was going to credit him afterwards, but thank you for doing so.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brad Example if you're listening out there. Thank you for coming out and giving us a big hand yesterday. It was a big help. I certainly appreciate you coming out and doing your thing. It was a pleasure to share the table with you. Also, with talking about JRDA dues and stuff, there is an early bird special going on as far as all teams, not just the international teams. So go to the JRDA website, check out the information on that, and take advantage of it. If you are out there watching us, which you are because you're listening to the sounds of my voice, take a picture of your watch party. Hashtag JRDA Watch Party on social media. Post it on social media and hashtag JRDA Watch Party before the end of the weekend, which would be today. And there will be cool JRDA prizes and swag given out to some.
Now, we do have a couple of folks across the Derby sphere who have weighed in with their watch party photos. We've got some pretty good ones. We've got some puppy photos, really cute, multiple puppy photos. Oh, my goodness, so many puppy photos. And even if you're a watch party of one, we still want to see how you're enjoying the weekend, and that is Rough Red. She's being escorted to the medical team for evaluation. So Philly will unfortunately lose her as a jammer for the time being. You know,
perfect opportunity to thank the medical personnel here at the ranch. Lots of volunteers come out to make this thing we call roller derby happen, and it takes a village. And thank you very much to all the volunteers, but for right now, the medics, thank you for coming out and being the medical support that you are. Keeping everybody safe, because that's what we're all about. We're also about cool, exciting derby action, but while we're being safe.
Reservoir Dolls at 22. They are wearing the white uniforms with red accents. Philly in black with the teal accents. Jamming for Philly is Unstoppable. But through the inside, Psychotic Angel for lead. No, she is going to be called on a cutting the track penalty. So this opens up an opportunity. Although Unstoppable has made it through quickly, so he's lead jammer. Hitting the back of the pack and falling, but he's going to find a way through the inside line on turn 2.
Because he's unstoppable.
He always does find a way. So now Philly lining up for some offense here. And they're letting their jammer hit first. He's pushing forward. They're dropping a bridge, and Unstoppable is able to make it past the last defender for 5 more points.
This is just what the doctor ordered for Philly as they get 10 more points, closing the gap to 4. I mean, it's still early. We have plenty of time, but keeping it close like this is you always want to keep it as close as you can.
Psychotic Angel with a nice defensive bump to the inside, keeping Unstoppable to the infield, and he's able to recycle and get through. That's going to be 5 more points for Philly.
Philly coming back, Unstoppable coming back around. That gives us a lead change. It is 23-22 now, as 15 points in this jam for Philly. And Unstoppable doesn't show any sign of stopping. And Philly's jammer is, Reservoir Doll's jammer is going back to the bench, just coming back out. So this is going to continue the power jam situation for Unstoppable and Philly, the All About Derby power jam.
Gorgeous line work on the inside and the near straightaway from Unstoppable to get additional points. This is a 25-point jam for him thus far with 6 seconds left. He's continuing on his toe stops, but is taken to the infield. And he looks like he's slowing down a little bit, but we're going to get additional points perhaps on that last pass of 2. So a 27-point jam for Unstoppable to bring Philly in the lead, 35 to Reservoir Dolls 22.
Absolutely. Very impressive. And I guess if you're going to slow down a little bit, if you're going to do that and get away with it, you should at least go ahead and put 27 points on the board before you do.
Why not?
You know,
it's Sunday morning, right? There are no more mornings at JRDA Championships if they don't leave it on the track now. Anna is jamming in a power start for Philly. A full complement of blockers here from Reservoir Dolls. That's Takedown Diva trying to open up some offense for her jammer. And a nice line coverage here from Takedown Diva, who did knock out Psychotic Angel, but also went out herself. So Anna still trying to struggle to get through Psychotic Angel on a scoring run. And there's a direction being assessed right now. That is Scooby Smack headed to the penalty box.
You said that this is the last morning. You got to leave it all on the track.
Yeah.
A lot of these skaters, as if they haven't had enough roller derby, are going to be here tomorrow trying out for World Cup.
As if they haven't had enough.
Speaking of not having enough derby, as soon as we get the next play stoppage, I'm going to tell you, everybody out there in WFTDA TV land, how you can get some more derby feel coming up soon.
I would love to know. Tomahawk with a nice exit hit at turn 4. Scooby Smack back in action from the penalty box. Anna still trying to make it through. Tom putting himself in position for that star pass and takes it. So yeah, now, oh, go ahead.
No, that is Psychotic Angel.
Who is holding the star and maybe has gotten all 4 or 5 points before putting it back on.
Yeah, I thought when you first pointed it looked like she had hurt something the way she was doing, but it was a very dramatic. I think she was selling that a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm not hiding the star.
Points scored by Tomahawk. Psychotic Angel also able to make it through. We've got 1 second left. Exciting jam.
Very much so, as now 8-5 in favor of Philly, 43-27 Philly now, as they're starting to be all Philly all the time for the last few minutes anyway. I'd be remiss if I did not shout out one more time. I've been doing it all, but especially while I'm sitting right here by Double H. Thank you to WFTDA TV. We were going to have fun whether you were here or not, but the fact that we
couldn't let you have fun without us.
That we could share and showcase these juniors to the Derbyverse. I appreciate you and WFTDA TV coming out.
I am really excited to be here. Unstoppable makes it through. Lead jammer tumbling, and there is a star pass. No, sorry, the pivot is headed to the penalty box. Still jamming is Juke Skywalker for Reservoir Dolls, but now there is a penalty assessed against him, and it is a cutting the track penalty. So both the jammer and the pivot for Reservoir Dolls now in the penalty box.
Reservoir Dolls, the team in the white jerseys, for those of you out there in the TV land.
Unstoppable, aptly named in this jam. He had a 27-point jam just 2 jams ago, and he's continuing his scoring run right now with 10 points in this jam alone. Make that 15.
Reservoir Dolls jumped out to a lead early in the game, early in the bout, but Philly is just, all things are clicking Philly right now for the last few jams.
And I think that's what they had hoped would happen. Oh, there's going to be a back block assessed to Juke Skywalker. So back-to-back penalties for jammers already just a few jams into this game.
That is the second time that we've had back-to-back, that Reservoir Dolls have had back-to-back penalties on their jammers. Psychotic Angel had 2 back-to-back a couple of jams ago, and now again, Juke Skywalker. And it's going to be hard to catch up and put points on the board if your jammer is sitting in the penalty box.
Well, impressive was the 27-point jam that Unstoppable put up just a few jams ago. And now I believe that was 26 or no, he has beaten it. He has tied it, I should say. So 2 27-point jams in this first half to bring Philly to 70, Reservoir Dolls 26.
Wow, very impressive. I mentioned a minute ago, for those, if you are haven't had enough roller derby for this weekend, which we still have lots of exciting action. Some of the games, if you look up and down the bracket, we are going to have an exciting day today. It is going to be an amazing day of derby. But if you are not tired of derby, and which you, of course you aren't, right?
But that does not compute.
JRDA is very, very proud. This just broke the Wednesday before this tournament started. JRDA, we've had international tournaments as far as having international teams, but coming up in August, JRDA is sponsoring a tournament in Copenhagen, in Denmark. 9 countries are being represented: USA, Belgium, France, Sweden, England, Scotland, Germany, Holland, Denmark, and JRDA is super excited to be involved in that. It does so much for the future of junior roller derby, which means it does a lot
for the right now.
For the right now,
yep.
And for WFTDA, as this is becoming more and more like a feeder program for the WFTDA. More skaters
and
aging
for
out.
MRDA.
Yes, and for MRDA.
Quite
correct,
a few MRDA teams have been here this weekend watching the action. Speaking of action, Anna finds some offensive help from Tomahawk on the outside, is battling at the front of the pack. Beautiful recycling here from Reservoir Dolls in front of her. And a nice penalty kill here from Reservoir Dolls as their jammer, Juke Skywalker, comes out of the pack, as does Takedown Diva from Philly. So Juke Skywalker is going to push against that wall at the back. The entire pack at the far straightaway, grinding forward. This is the type of gameplay we haven't seen much of this weekend because this floor is extremely slick. I know both of these teams have struggled to not roll forward throughout this weekend. They're doing a great job of staying as stationary as possible, and that's TIE Fighter with the attempted exit hit as Juke Skywalker gets through to become lead. And Tomahawk gets that star from Anna as an attempted apex jump turns into a slide across the track from Juke Skywalker.
You mentioned TIE Fighter.
Oh, TIE Fighter's had an amazing weekend.
Hey, first of all, this is not the first time I've seen this young man skate or ref, but he is one of the most proficient refs. And I am not talking about proficient for a junior ref. I've seen him make proper no calls that other refs, I feel like, that many adults established refs would not have made, and the calls. He has just been, and I happen to know more than one junior skater out there in WFTDA TV land that is a huge TIE Fighter fan. I'm just saying, he has a fan club already. You
know, he has done such a great job training with Gotham. And that's going to be a cutting the track called against Frecklenator, who is jamming for Reservoir Dolls, allowing Unstoppable to get through. And he is not the jammer you want to give a power jam to in this game. He's got 54 of Philly's 70 points already due to power jams.
And if he comes through here and scores 27 this time, I'm just going to check, please. I'm done. You cannot do 3 steps.
Waiter?
Yes.
Check, please. So now Philly kind of passively providing some offense. They're going to let Unstoppable push forward, but he is going to incur a forearm penalty. So now he will be going to the penalty box. Frecklenator is standing and released, so he'll sit for the full 30, barring any other unfortunate circumstances. Boomerang taking Frecklenator to the outside line, drawn back by Motley Drew. Philly reforming in the front at the far straightaway. Boomerang with the hit to take Frecklenator out. And a nice drawback here. Good job, though, from number 33, Skinner, to protect that line for the Reservoir Dolls.
Nice move at the end of coming out of the pack.
Apex jump from Unstoppable to get through. That was, I believed he was on a scoring run, but nope, that was his initial. Point scored, though, from Frecklenator.
Frecklenator putting 4 on the board. Unstoppable now once again through the pack. I believe there's his points for this one. 4-4 so far in this jam.
Frecklenator able to make it through for additional points. That was an 8-4 jam in favor of Reservoir Dolls. Now 40 points between these teams. Philly 74, Reservoir Dolls 34.
You mentioned the future is now. We do have a number of skaters on both of these teams that are aging out and will be joining other programs. For the Reservoir Dolls, Skinner and Tipsy Terror are both aging out, and they will be skating for Emerald City Roller Derby. And Scooby Smack is aging out, and he's going to Lane County Concussion Men's Roller Derby. So super.
That's awesome.
The future is now. I'll get you any from Philly. Anna is aging out. I do not have record of where she's going. I'm sure it's Philly or she's playing.
I know that she is going to college not in Philly. So unfortunately, I do think that we are going to lose her. Her mother, Hot Rod Hussey, a.k.a. Salentry, Sally, used to skate with the Philly Roller Derby Liberty Bells, and her father, Little Joe, was also the bench manager for a few years of the Liberty Bells. So she comes from good derby stock.
Philly has a lot of second-generation skaters from what I'm looking down this list. And we talked about TIE Fighter doing other things and reffing here. Harley Spin is going to be on the mic later today. She's going to announce.
I have to say, I think I may have been correct. There were points that were not awarded to Unstoppable in that last jam. He had been on a scoring pass.
It did look like, you're right, it did look like.
I'm rarely right, Albie.
No, you're always right.
But that one time in this game, I think I was right.
Y'all don't tell anybody. I'll never hear the end of it.
I know, right?
It'll just be a secret between me and you and me and everybody out there in WFTDA TV land. Every time first of all, I love, you talked about the uniforms and we talked about the teams. Why I love the Reservoir Dolls, their uniform with the little blood splatter and the ties and everything else. But the only thing that messes with me, they're from Emerald City, they're from Eugene, Oregon, and I just feel like they should be green.
Yeah, that is a really lovely, it is a lovely green place.
Emerald City.
Yes.
It's Emerald City. Anyway, what do I know?
So we are in the jam. Oh, now we're in the jam. I thought we were in the jam for a moment. That was just the countdown. That's okay. Rainbow Crash jamming for Philly and Death Wish for the Reservoir Dolls. Death Wish eyeing up the outside line, getting shut down. Finds room on the inside, but is forced to the infield and recycled. Meanwhile, Rainbow Crash taken to the outside at turn 1.
Both jammers being recycled back to the jammer line. We'll just start this one again.
Death Wish able to get back up in time to get lead jammer status through the inside. Rainbow Crash getting recycled on the inside. Drawn all the way back. And finding some space around the outside, but those lines are shut down pretty quickly by the Reservoir Dolls.
40-point lead for Philly over the Dolls. Reservoir Dolls right this second. 11.5 minutes left to play here in the first half.
So Tomahawk coming out of the penalty box as the pivot, eyeing up his jammer who has taken off the helmet cover, is being guarded pretty heavily by Juke Skywalker. Death Wish coming into the turn, able to score additional points. That's going to be a 15-point jam for her so far, Albie, with the star pass to Tomahawk, and that's going to be a call.
Yeah, once Tomahawk got it, Death Wish wisely just turned it off and said, called off the jam and said, we'll get back into it.
Choose wisely.
The 10 o'clock game is a family affair here in Colorado today, as Catman is over on the other track.
I'm so
no matter
proud of
which
him.
track, you know what, he's done such a good job. And there's, and it's one of the things that you and I talked about to get into this. We wanted the juniors to come in and just put a junior spin on it.
Absolutely.
Because it's all about a fun broadcast. And while Catman has been a little bit on the younger side, he has so much. There are so many times where he'll throw some information where you and I just look at it going, it's so analytical. It's going, wow.
Scooby Smack jamming for Reservoir Dolls is able to make it through. Unstoppable headed to the penalty box. This is not the type of scenario that I think Philly was hoping for, but a beautiful setup here for the offense. Scooby Smack gets that outside line and is able to grab points, but a takedown on the inside from Boomerang. Boomerang went out of bounds, so that was okay for him to continue on his path. Scooby Smack around the outside, grabbing 5 more points. Unstoppable making it through for his initial. Now, Scooby Smack hitting the back of the pack, he's going to call it. And just like that, Reservoir Dolls back within striking range.
Real quick.
61.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, you do your thing. 61-79, Reservoir Dolls coming back, working their way back against Philly. Real quick, going back to the junior announcer thing. Catman, first of all, if he wasn't here, we have announcers that would be falling out from not having breaks. And second of all, he is so smart and added so much flair to. I mean, what mother out there is not going, oh, listen, and how many people out there? And it's gotten to the point and let's face it, announcers in this sport are there's not many of us that really stick around and do it for a long time.
Yeah.
So why not get young people in here and start training them young to do it? And if you guys are wait till you see the lineups that we got coming throughout the day. We have a game later on today that's going to be all juniors. House, 2 broadcasts. 7 of the 10 games today have a junior involved in it, and there's at least 2 games with multiple juniors. One of them has all juniors all across the board. It's going to be, and it's going to be, I challenge you to listen and tell me that it's like that you're not amazed at the talent of these young people talking roller derby later on.
The thing about a lot of major sports that are out there that are kids sports, if you watch other sports that are played by kids that are broadcast, the broadcast is built for adults watching kids, and the entire industry is built around recruiting kids to grow up into this sport. But roller derby is different. It is a family affair. It is about the experience those kids are having. And I think that's what makes it really special to have those kids involved in the broadcast as well.
Absolutely. Getting back to the action. We'll get back to that in just a second. Juke Skywalker now free for the Reservoir Dolls. That is number 16. Yes, I was okay.
Anna trying to get through for Philly. A nice little juke from Juke Skywalker coming up against Tomahawk and Takedown Diva. Tomahawk does some nice positional blocking to keep Juke Skywalker behind, but man, Juke Skywalker is aptly named. Is that going to be a penalty? No, it is going to be a no pass, no penalty. There was some question from the jammer referee. Star pass to Boomerang. So Boomerang, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Boomerang a bit into the jammer rotation moving forward to keep Unstoppable, keep his legs a little bit fresher.
Yeah, they've done that before. They'll start out, Boomerang won't really be in the jammer rotation at the beginning, but as it goes on, not that somebody's not doing anything because everybody's productive, but as the game goes on, they need a little bit that extra jam. An extra jammer in the rotation gives you a break. So
I'm wondering if there is a challenge to that no pass, no penalty. There's some conversation. Oh, it's an official review on behalf of the Reservoir Dolls, so they must be challenging some other action. Reservoir Dolls doing a great job coming back here. 8-0 jam in that last jam. So 79 for Philly, Reservoir Dolls 70. We're at 8 minutes and 11 seconds, and plenty of room for either one of these teams to get the advantage. The first half has been a story of momentum, 3 different stories of momentum. It started out Reservoir Dolls. Reservoir Dolls were putting everything together. It looked like, well, if they keep going like this, it's going to just be out of control soon. And then Philly was unstoppable. Pardon the pun. 2 27-point jams from Unstoppable. So that's just the 2 biggest ones. I mean, back to back. He's had more than that, and so he's scored quite a few. And because of the play of his blockers, it's not just he's just the one wearing the star. Just like in football, the running back gets all the credit, but the blockers are the ones doing all the grunting and the hard work. And in this sport, it's even more so because the blockers are playing. And we're going to have a determination on the official review. Okay, so the Reservoir Dolls were trying to get a cutting the track penalty on Philly's jammer, and they did not get it, so they're going to lose their review in this half. Yes, the no call stands. What I was saying about the blockers is unlike football, like I made the analogy, these blockers are playing offense and defense at the same time. Yep. Instead of having an offensive line and a defensive line, you have a line. Yep. And they have to be able to do both. You have to. And the Philly crowd's starting to get into it. Now, Juke Skywalker is starting this off in the penalty box, so that must have been assessed as a cutting the track penalty at the end. This is Unstoppable jamming for Philly. He is on a power jam. And his wall hopping forward to offer a little bit of offense, but now they're going to drop back and wait for for Unstoppable to push forward. He's getting pushed to the infield and recycled back to turn 3. Now out of the penalty box is Juke Skywalker. And there's going to be a penalty assessed to number 33, Skinner. Unstoppable threw for 5 points. And there's a good amount of audience participation over in turn 3 about this particular jam, as Unstoppable makes it part of the way through that turn but is recycled. Now, Unstoppable's skating at this point is looking a bit restrained. He's getting some help from Tomahawk, but I think he's being relied on pretty heavily in the jammer rotation.
A bit restrained. You can't very well say that. I mean, you can't get 27 every jam, Double H.
What I mean by that is that Unstoppable is one of those jammers who can not only push but can juke and can jump. And so I'm not seeing a lot of that from him. I'm seeing more steady, forward, thoughtful skating. And I know he would like to stay out of the penalty box. It's something he's been working on this weekend.
You know, and I'm curious, and I was thinking about this. There was, on Friday, there was a lot less from all the teams of a lot, so shall we say, airplay. Because this track is extremely slick. It is polished concrete.
Yep.
Yesterday, I felt like teams were starting to get the feel of it and taking a few more chances, and it ended up into a lot more sliding around than was the day before. Today, it looks like they might have backed up and reeled it back, at least in this first game, and are going with the strategy that was worked well in the first day of not pushing this floor past your limits on it.
Speaking of limits, Deathwish pushed through the pack, past the limits of the pack. Anna finally free. Deathwish is lead. Her bench manager is telling her that Anna's about half a track behind her. And she's going to call that after a gain of 1. So Philly 88, Reservoir Dolls 71, 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first.
At this point, Reservoir Dolls got 1 point, but you know what? At this point, everybody's still close. It's 8. Come on, now. I mean, it's not like anybody's going to. You're waiting to see which team's going to put a bunch of these runs together and open things up. But so far, it's been a story of momentum, like we said. Reservoir, Philly, Reservoir, and now they've kind of hung out here for a minute and settled down. But you want to see who's going to make the next run.
Right now, that's going to be Unstoppable, but Scooby Smack is about 10 feet behind him and closing. Scooby Smack trying to get through, and Unstoppable's going to call it as Scooby Smack tries to take him down and does not succeed.
Yeah, I could see where that would be a difficult task.
And, you know, that was a bit of a lead jammer burn there, but I think it's actually probably a good place for Reservoir Dolls to hang out, just to sort of get their momentum back in action.
Yeah, Scooby Smack, very impressive as he got through. He turned on the burners and made sure that he closed the gap to where Unstoppable was just better off just calling it off, regrouping, and going at it another way.
Anna jamming for Philly, working this front 3-person tripod here against Reservoir Dolls, and in the back, Philly's 4-wall trying to keep Lethal Ivy in check. Ivy coming up against Tomahawk and now TIE Fighter, and that's going to be a call against. That is a high block being assessed to Tomahawk. So now Philly loses their pivot in this jam, which means Anna's got to duke it out as Ivy has lead jammer status. A little bit of an overcommit to the outside, and Philly opens a hole for Ivy to get through. Anna still looking for a way through this pack. Now the pack nearing turn 3. A tangle up with Lethal Ivy, but she's able to make it through for 5 more points, bringing this within 7, a 10-0 jam in favor of the Reservoir Dolls.
it's something how the sport in general, the way there's a place for everybody in this sport. I mean, it doesn't.
Even me.
Well, no, you are the legend that is Double H. Of course, there's a place for you.
Oh no,
what are
you stopped.
But once you put wheels on a smaller person, they all of a sudden become just as big as that bigger person.
Yeah.
So there's not whether you're a junior and that's why the open division. The gender does not make a difference. A lot of people are like, well, how are you letting those little girls play with that? That's just silly talk, because I've seen there's nothing more. It's just really cool when you see this like 3 foot tall young lady knock a larger young man on the ground and sit there and go, here, let me help you up. You know, and they're like, no disrespect to anybody. I'm just saying that the point is that this is a gender neutral sport and just how it should be.
Yep. And it's not a co-ed division. It's the open division.
It's the open division. Come and
play
roller derby.
Yep. And so we do have an official timeout right now. It's probably a good time to remind you that we are on Twitter, and we would love to talk to you. So use the hashtag #TalkToJRDA. I'm wondering if Catman and Tool Time are getting any love on the other track, as I'm certain they probably are on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. He's I think they've kind of bonded over there, I think. I got that impression from listening to him yesterday.
You know, there are some announcing teams that just have great chemistry, and that's
one of them.
That's one of the greats, I think. So we're getting ready to start the next jam. Tomahawk standing in the penalty box for Philly. Unstoppable jamming for Philly. Jamming for the Reservoir Dolls is, let's see.
00 Death Wish?
Yes, it is Death Wish. Okay. So she is lead now. Unstoppable looking for a way through. Tomahawk trying to open a hole before recommitting.
My goodness.
To the defense. And Tomahawk with a gorgeous exit hit, but that's going to be called a low block. Tomahawk fairly penalty heavy. I believe he's got at least 4 in this period so far, and he has fouled out of both games in this tournament for Philly so far.
I will check on the penalty situation at halftime and come back with any secrets I can find out.
Secrets from the penalty box. You know, I brought in donuts today, but some days it really seems like there's donuts in the penalty box. Right? There were a few games this weekend that had some extraordinarily high penalty counts. This has not been one of them, but
yeah, it's kind of went feast or famine as far as penalty goes so far in the bouts that we've had. We're either seeing that either the penalty trackers or the penalty box attendants over there working the box, or either standing there going, you know, you feel like they're ordering pizza or something, or they're out there working.
They've got freshly baked cookies, juice. Yeah.
Wait, nobody told me there was food in the penalty box. Hold on, time out.
Yeah. Some days there isn't.
Oh. Hats off to all the officials that are here this entire weekend and all the volunteers. This has been such an amazing event to be part of. I'm so proud to be here.
So,
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. No. I'm looking at this turn into an official review on behalf of Philly, and I'm wondering if they're trying to challenge that as a low block. And maybe it is. Oh, maybe they're just taking the official review as a timeout, which would be beneficial for them. We've got unstoppable jamming for Philly. That inside line is no match for Psychotic Angel, though. Reservoir Dolls lead jammer, unstoppable, with a nice hit of his own to get through.
Psychotic Angel coming, rest in the pack, trying to put Reservoir Dolls in the lead going into halftime. Might have been a little late calling it off. It's 4 points and nope, none for Philly. Okay.
All right, so regaining the lead.
It was 1.
By 1 point.
1 point.
So 90-89 with 1 minute and 7 seconds left. This could likely be the last jam, but we'll see if there is a hit it and quit it strategy. And the strategy right now for Philly is to put Boomerang on the line as a jammer.
Yeah, you mentioned that Boomerang will be part of. Oh, Boomerang just, wow.
Reservoir Dolls fielding Scooby Smack. This is now a jammer race. Reservoir Dolls taking a look at where their jammer is in relation to Boomerang. Scooby Smack able to make it through to score points. Boomerang also looking for points as she's taken to the inside, and there's going to be a cutting the track penalty assessed. And it is going to Boomerang. So this is a power jam in favor of Reservoir Dolls.
Reservoir Dolls able to put some stuff together and come back and close the gap. It's been back and forth, flip-flopping, and now it looks like we're going to go into halftime with a Reservoir Doll lead. And as another Philly skater now going to the penalty box. We've said this half has been waves and momentum each way, and it's the same way with the penalty box. Is while the other team is going on the roll, the other team is sitting in the penalty box, and it hasn't been just Philly or just Reservoir Dolls. It's back and forth, which means penalties, at least so far the trend is, if you can stay on the track, you'll be doing pretty good. So clean up the penalties, and you'll be in the advantage, which seems.
So points scored for Boomerang here now, trying to answer some of the points fielded by Scooby Smack. We've got 34 seconds left in the jam. Boomerang was lead before she went into the penalty box, but penalties mounting. And now Boomerang's got one to beat, is taken to the infield. There's going to be a forearm penalty assessed, and that's going to go to the pivot for Reservoir Dolls right now. And that is Juke Skywalker. Now coming out of the penalty box for Philly, Maddie Longlegs. Both of these jammers on a scoring run. They've got 6 seconds left to make a difference here.
Went from two Philly skaters in the box to 2 Reservoir Doll skaters in the box, and Boomerang going down hard right at the pivot line.
But she is going to get points. So now Reservoir Dolls 111, Philly 101. This is a 10-point game in Reservoir Dolls' favor going into the half. Amazing last couple of jams.
Yeah, super exciting roller derby. That's how we want to do it here at the 2017 championships, as Reservoir Dolls flip it and do 111 to 101 going into the halftime. And hopefully, I'm sure the second half, let's see how the coaches, it's interesting to see what the coaches do, because we have talented coaches on each bench, and to see what adjustments they make, or if they just say, look, if it ain't wrong, don't fix it. Let's just keep working hard and doing what we do and make them crack. And I think that's going to be relevant for both of them. Let's see which one does the most.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing for both teams is jammers who are also going in as pivots. I'm seeing a lot of the pivots going in as relief jammers and doing well against the lines. So I'm curious to see if there is a shift in strategy between who is fielded as a jammer and who is fielded as a pivot in the second period.
It's going to be a coach's chess match at halftime. You guys come back and see how it goes in the second half right here on WFTDA TV. I told you what time, right? We said 2 o'clock?
Welcome back. Albie is trying to schedule other junior announcers for the remainder of the weekend, which is extremely exciting. We've had a lot of junior announcers participate because this is, after all, the 2017 Junior Roller Derby Association Championship, and you are watching the second half of Philly versus Reservoir Dolls from Emerald City on the open division bracket. And this is the first game of the day, so it's the battle for 9th and 10th place. And we are looking at the number 9 and the number 10 seed competing. So
that's, you know what, you like when the seeding, it doesn't always go that way. As a matter of fact, we have a number 2 playing 4 for the championship later on today. There you go. Great camera work. Look at there. He is not just a pretty face.
You know why? It's because our camera operator is powered by donuts today.
Oh, is that what it is?
I wasn't able to bring in any yesterday, unfortunately, so I don't know how he managed to get all of Saturday completed, but he did. Great work.
He powered through it.
He powered through. Somehow you just soldier on. Like Philly and the Reservoir Dolls.
You know, that said, the cameraman over here, on this side at least, has developed his own little fan club throughout some of the junior roller derby.
Is that true?
Yes, I've been listening to the rumors and hearing things about that cameraman on track 1.
Is there a hashtag? Hashtag track 1 cameraman?
Let's see. We need to announce that in the venue, because everybody that's talking about, most of the ones that are talking about the cameraman on track 1 are in the venue. You really need to film yourself so everybody out there in the Derbyverse could see who.
Maybe.
There's the cameraman's fingers.
Exactly. I was going to say maybe we could get a watch party shot of our cameraman with the hashtag JRDA watch party, because he has the best vantage point to watch these games.
That is a good point, because I kept saying yesterday that except for those of you at home that are sitting right there in front of your widescreen TVs, us here in the announcer booth, we can see the live action and the feed from out there. So I thought we had the best seat in the house, but I stand corrected.
Yes, it's our camera operator.
Camera operator has the best seat in the house.
Well, the action is really the best, and that's the most important thing. So Death Wish jamming for Reservoir Dolls off this line. And for Philly, it is Unstoppable. Philly fielding Unstoppable after 2 27-point jams in the first period. And he is able to make it through to become lead jammer. His jammer referee turned around just to make sure there weren't any penalties assessed on that one. There are not.
Already a revolving door on the penalty box for Reservoir, and we're just 30 seconds in, and they've had their second skater in the penalty box.
So a 10-point difference in the score brought down to just 5 with that pass from Unstoppable. And there is a helmet cover pass to Juke Skywalker, who is being recycled all the way to the outside. And with that, Philly has closed the lead, and it is now 111 to 111.
Wow. Ones everywhere. There's something to be said about having someone like Juke Skywalker as your pivot person and being able to hand off the star to Juke Skywalker.
Scooby Smack going to the penalty box for the Reservoir Dolls.
Lethal Ivy with a great hip on Unstoppable. To look like he had an open line on the inside coming out of turn number 4, and Lethal Ivy closed that opening very quickly.
Philly retaking the lead with that last pass as Unstoppable has 2 to beat, easily does so, manages to keep his toe stop intact, and there is another injury on the track. And that is Maddie Longlegs, who looks as though she may have taken a skate to the gut, and she seems to be okay. She's up and moving, but the jam was called due to injury. But that was a 20-point jam for Unstoppable, who has now fielded 2 27-point jams plus a 20-point jam and other assorted points so far in this game. Now Philly 121, Reservoir Dolls 111.
Before I get on the mic again, I will go see my buddy Catman and have him do derby math and figure out how many points that is altogether, because I don't do numbers.
I can tell you.
Oh, can you really?
It's 74 points.
See, never mind then. That
That's
whole math
where he
thing
gets
must
it
run in the family.
No. No.
I'm just teasing.
No. The broadcast, that definitely runs in the family.
Oh, and you know what? He's those of you that have not had you need to find Catman on social media. Doesn't he have? He
does. He's got a
Instagram. Twitter
handle. It's at the Catman105. His number when he skates is 105.
It's funny because his announcing partner over there, and they've kind of developed they were on yesterday, and they were so good together. We started off the day with them today, he and Tool Time. And Tool Time was looking at the opening credits, and he's like, wait a minute, that's Catman. Wait a minute, he's interviewed Plastic Patrick?
I know.
That's just not right. He's like, we got grown men announcers going, that's not fair.
So yesterday during the last game that they called together, Catman said to Tool Time, well, you know, the next time Plastic Patrick and you and I are in a room together, I'll introduce you to him.
Get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I had the honor of meeting Plastic Patrick at D1 in Jacksonville a couple years ago. Plastic Patrick is just amazing. And Tool Time was just so fanboy on Catman because he's got to interview Plastic Patrick. We're back to playing roller derby, which is what we do best here in Loveland, Colorado. 121 to 111.
This is Rainbow Crash and Psychotic Angel jamming.
Oh, you're good.
No, you're good, Al.
Whatever. Stop it. Nothing but derby love over here going on in the booth. It's funny because the only time I've really been nervous all weekend was when I was started to take the chair back next to Double H, and I'm like, well, you've worked with her for a month getting this tournament ready. Just sit and call derby. There's
a direction of gameplay assessed to Frecklenator. Psychotic Angel is able to make it through. Rainbow Crash has removed her helmet cover. Boomerang is the pivot. And I think she's opting to play defense and let Rainbow Crash slug it out here so that Philly can play D in the back against Psychotic Angel. And a drawback here from Boomerang on the outside as Rainbow Crash is moving ahead to score points on this pack. And it's taken to the outside. Both jammers now looking for a line. And Psychotic Angel finds one on the inside. So that was a 4-point pass for Psychotic Angel. Rainbow Crash still trying to push ahead on this wall. Nice defense here from Reservoir Dolls. Rainbow Crash able to slip through, not before getting an exit hit from Frecklenator.
My goodness.
So that's a 4-point pass for Rainbow Crash.
Both teams seeming to come out a little more physical here in the second half.
So Philly 125, Reservoir Dolls 119. Do we know how to keep it close or what, Albie?
Absolutely. 6-point lead for Philly. Reservoir Dolls trying to work their way back. It's been, like I said, it's been flipping back and forth between these two teams for most of the comp. Unstoppable trying to work his way through. There he goes on the one more to beat, but no, down on the inside. Death Wish with a great move on the inside
to become lead jammer. Unstoppable still trying to find a way through. Eyes up the inside, does a nice mohawk around the outside to make it through for his initial. Meanwhile, points scored. That's going to be 4 on that pass for Death Wish. Great work here from Reservoir Dolls.
We talk a lot about Juke Skywalker jamming, but in that particular jam, Unstoppable came through the pack, and it looked like he was home free on the inside. And Juke Skywalker took control of him, and instead of letting him pass, just drove him out to the outside of the track and opened up just a wide opening for Death Wish on the inside, allowing Death Wish to get lead jam for Reservoir Dolls. We're going back to Doobie. Boomerang taking the star, and for the Reservoir Dolls, it is number 33. That is Skinner. Skinner taking lead jam with quickness, and Boomerang now. Both jammers are off to the races. The pack electing to stay put.
Boomerang coming in and grabbing points. She will steal 2. And there will be 2 also on the side of Reservoir Dolls. So that was a 2-2 jam.
A lot of the bouts yesterday towards the end, when the jammers got out like that, the packs just took off, and it was just like really watching racing going on for a number of laps. And I'm going, in this high altitude, they're just going to keep going.
Yep, it's exhausting.
Wow.
So we've got Scooby Smack out first, lead jammer, Unstoppable, jamming for Philly, recycled all the way back. Scooby Smack's lap was so fast, and he is back in action, scoring points now. Through that pack super quickly. Unstoppable with the baby, not so baby apex jump to make it through for his initial, and Scooby Smack is going to call it after regaining the lead. 5-0 jam there. Reservoir Dolls 130, Philly 127. Just about 7 minutes of gameplay expired in the second period.
It's about right on schedule. We just keep having about every 5 or 6 or 7 minutes, we swap leads and let the other team be in control for a few minutes.
So now earlier in the game, Philly's ref Red went out on an injury. She is sitting on the bench without her skates on, and her knee is wrapped, so I am assuming she will not be returning to gameplay. And Philly making adjustments in their jamming rotation, including Boomerang, who is now on the line as a jammer for Philly.
Is she holding her foot? Looks like she's taped her foot up.
And her knee was taped earlier.
Oh, yeah, she has ice on her knee, and she has tape. There you go, you're right. It is.
Tomahawk trying to keep Death Wish from making any progress. Does not. She is lead. Boomerang looking for some room around the outside. Is able to make it through the pack about half a lap behind Death Wish. Eyeing up the back of this Philly pack is just going to call it. I got to say, so it's day 3. The altitude is a factor, even though they say it takes about 4 days for the body to adjust to the higher altitude. But these kids definitely look like they've been playing roller derby for 3 days.
You know what? And you go through, those of you that follow some of the teams on social media, and I'm sure that like one of you out there doesn't follow all, but you do follow a team. And a lot of these teams, and by a lot, I mean over half, came in a couple days early. And they weren't sitting around or by the pool. They went out hiking in the Colorado mountains.
They sure did.
To do endurance and to get used to the altitude. Pretty impressive.
Psychotic Angel, lead jammer status, and that is going to be an elbow assessed to Unstoppable. So now this is a power jam on behalf of Reservoir Dolls. So now they have an opportunity to widen their lead. They're ahead by 10, 137 to 127.
Psychotic Angel going through for another point pass, adding 10 so far in this jam, 142 to 127 as Reservoir Dolls trying to open things up now. Like I said, keeps going. It seems to come in droves, but it's doing it like for 5 to 7 minute patches at a time for each team. Psychotic Angel down on the inside, adds 5 more points for a total of 15 for this jam. And they take a 20-point lead.
So they're going to freeze Unstoppable. They're going to ice him in the box. He's standing, which means he's got 10 or fewer seconds left in the penalty box. And Philly has a full complement of blockers, as does Reservoir Dolls, but this is going to be a power start for Emerald City. We wanted to let you hear the excitement in the room.
That was me. I was womp womp.
No, that was great. Oh, and that is number 27 jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. Lethal Ivy, an additional jam. I think she's jammed at least once before.
Yes.
But that is Unstoppable coming out of the penalty box, and he is lead jammer. There was a strange signal there from the jammer referee that I wasn't sure if it was a penalty or lead, and it happened to be lead. So now Unstoppable, untouched through the inside for 5 points.
That is unlike what we've seen from either team so far. Unstoppable, literally, he wasn't bending over, really trying to beat speed. He literally just stood up, went straight on the inside, and credit to his pack, I guess, keeping everybody engaged to the outside of the track.
Lethal Ivy still looking to break this pack, trying to get some help from her teammates. Meanwhile, Unstoppable through the inside, 5 additional points. He is on a 15-point run, so he's had 2 27-point jams, a 20-point jam, and now adding to that on this pass. That is going to be a 20-point jam.
To tie the game up at 147. Wow.
Can he beat his 27-point jam record is the question now. And now he's going to be instructed to call it.
Did he get more that time?
That is 3 more points.
He currently has 97 points. See how I did the math real quick?
Nicely done.
That was, it's just like, wow.
Huge jam, huge game for Unstoppable so far. Now putting Philly back in the lead, 150 over Reservoir Dolls, 147. Twitter, if you don't have things to say about this game to us, I don't know what to tell you. Use the hashtag #2 JRDA.
And this is the 9 and 10 game.
I don't know if I'm awake enough to handle the action. Maybe not awake. I'm absolutely awake to handle the action. I don't know if my body can possibly handle this much action for the rest of the day.
Man, we are going. This is going to be. I'm so excited about the rest of the day.
We're all just speechless.
We really. It's just like, what do you say? I mean, after the last 2 games last night, and to come back and start with this game to start off the day, man, great. Lots of exciting Derby action coming to you from Loveland, Colorado. If you haven't been on the feed all weekend, or if you know somebody that needs to watch Derby, go ahead and have them spend the $20 for the day and get on this for this last day, because I promise you, forget the rest of the weekend, you're going to get $20 plus worth of Derby on these 2 tracks today.
No lead yet called. Death Wish and Rainbow Crash duking it out. Both of these jammers look absolutely exhausted, but this is an extended pack from turn 1 all the way towards the far straightaway. Rainbow Crash trying to get past. There's a forearm assessed to the opposing pivot. And now Rainbow Crash is through. She does not get lead jammer status, so this is still an opportunity for Death Wish to do so. Tomahawk headed to the penalty box. Rainbow Crash scoring points, but crashed on the outside. And there is going to be a drawback and an out-of-play assessed to Maddie Longlegs.
Over a minute and 7 seconds that time without a lead jammer with these defensive walls doing. Ooh, Rainbow Crash with a hard hit, being helped up by the same skater that put him down.
Yeah.
You gotta love that.
I had to question whether or not Death Wish knew she was lead for a second. She absolutely did. Now retaking the lead is Philly 4-0. But I know there have been points scored by Rainbow Crash, so let's see where that leaves us. That's going to be 4 more points for the Reservoir Dolls and 2 for Philly. So an 8-2 jam, 155 Reservoir Dolls, Philly 152. This is a great game, Albie.
Just going back and forth. My goodness. This is how you start day 3 of the championships right here. This is how you do it.
So we've got a 3-3 pack situation. Unstoppable jamming for Philly. Scooby Smack for Reservoir Dolls. Oh, and he is knocked out and taking a hit, but they're going to call that not a cut. I mean, they're not going to call that anything. So a hit it and quit it jam here from Reservoir Dolls. That's going to be 4-0 jam. They did field Boomerang in this last as a pivot, who received the star for Philly. And I have no doubt the Teflon Donna is going to be asking some questions about that cut or lack of cut.
Lack of 159 to 152 as the Reservoir Dolls add 4 and open up the lead a little bit. This one still continues to go back and forth. It's just you just want to know which one is going to put 2 of these time spurts together, and that could be it. The more time goes on, is the first one to put 2 runs together could seal their fate, and I mean it's just that's how close it's been back and forth this entire contest.
And you could see all of the really proud and supportive parents in the audience for both teams. Everybody made the trek here to Denver, Colorado, Loveland, Colorado. Denver probably first as the airport, and then Loveland, Colorado. And it has been gorgeous the entire time we've been here. I have loved this weather.
Man, it's a little bit, it's funny because I get to the airport and everybody's like, it's so hot here. And I'm like, I come from Florida where you walk out and the humidity just kind of smacks you in the face. And I'm going, you're so cute when you say it's hot here, because it has been nothing but, I mean, it's nice and cool in the evenings.
Yeah.
And it's just.
I keep expecting to open the door in the evening and to get smacked in the face by that heat and humidity that we have on the East Coast. No, it's gorgeous.
It takes getting used to, because even you're not used to breathing and you get dry, but there is Unstoppable. He trying to flip things around again in favor of Philly.
Juke Skywalker able to do exactly that around the outside of turn 1 to get through. Unstoppable pirouetting on his toe stops to get through that pack. Takes a look at his bench and is being told to call it. And
the balance and the pure strength in these skaters. He was being pushed by opposing blockers and still did a 360 spin move on the toes of his skates and was able to stay in without going out. And that's from both teams and all these teams here. You have to be in awe of the athleticism of these young athletes.
What's great is these younger skaters are learning the techniques that older skaters have been the adult skaters have been perfecting, and this is their starting point, right? They're starting by learning to take the momentum of a hit to get through a pack.
Your QK or your whatever it is you call your new skaters now, if you're in the WFTDA, you're getting people that back in the day you used to get. If you got somebody with 4 or 5 years of roller skating experience, you were lucky. Forget derby experience. And now you got people with 8 to 10 years of roller derby experience joining your leagues.
That's going to be a call against Death Wish. So Death Wish, lead jammer, was now assessed a cutting the track penalty, and she takes her helmet cover off as she goes back to the penalty box. Rainbow Crash jamming for Philly. Rainbow Crash is eyeing up her pivot, who is Boomerang, and her whole pack looking for some assistance, saying, all right, now is the time to play offense. If you were ever going to do it now.
Rainbow Crash wanting to take this opportunity to flip-flop the lead one more time. Philly is 4 points down, but Rainbow Crash trying to remedy that, but
and
no.
And she's going to get a low block assessed. So now we've got a jammer in to the penalty box and a jammer coming right out, as Death Wish is going to continue on her run. She was lead, and now lead has been taken away. So 40 seconds or so of potential scoring time here for Reservoir Dolls.
Rainbow Crash took a couple of really hard hits, that pass attempt, and towards the end got assessed with a low block. She's got to be like, what?
And I believe she still has yet to make her initial. So when she comes back from the penalty box, she'll have to do that before she can get into scoring position.
Reservoir Dolls opening up a 14-point lead. I don't think that's the highest point lead of the game so far. I think we've had right around the 20. We had 20, I think, earlier.
And so there's the initial from Rainbow Crash, and now she is eyeing up the back of the pack, but that is the jam. And so 10 points. Sorry, 13-0 jam, putting Reservoir Dolls back on top firmly, 173 to Philly 156.
With 12 minutes and 40 seconds left to go here in the second period of the first game at the 2017 JRDA Championships in Loveland, Colorado.
Full complement of skaters on the floor to start this jam. Philly is fielding Unstoppable, and Reservoir Dolls are fielding Scooby Smack. And he is trying to get past and able to do so. Unstoppable at the back of the pack is looking for some assistance. Penalties assessed. Number 919, Rage Quick, going to the penalty box. So Unstoppable is out. Scooby Smack is going to grab a few points and call it, and that was 4-0 jam in favor of Reservoir Dolls.
Reservoir Dolls doing their best to open things up. Boomerang coming on the track now for Philly. I told you, everybody out there, about the tournament in Copenhagen in Denmark. A couple things I didn't tell you about is there is a skater from Mob City, Moose, number 000. She is participating in that event. That's pretty cool. And more importantly, to those of you out there watching, if you go to catrollerderby.com, that's www.catrollerderby.com, and check out the information, or facebook.com Cat Junior Roller Derby, you will learn that the streaming for this event cost a whopping $0.
That's awesome. That's wonderful.
Free streaming for that international tournament. There will be people involved all over. There is another, those of you, the JRDA Championships in Cardiff, Wales, October 13th and 14th. That is going to feature a junior male expo on Saturday the 14th at 9 p.m. That's impressive. They are also looking for coaches and skaters to apply. So jump on that. You can talk to games at juniorrollerderby.org. Email talktogames@juniorrollerderby.org for info to apply. I'm so sorry for that. Womp womp.
Why are you sorry?
Because I misread that.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, right?
I think it's because of all the really awesome roller derby action that's happening right now, with Reservoir Dolls on top 177 over Philly 156. Philly on the front line, slowly easing back. Boomerang now jamming for Philly, and that is Psychotic Angel. Around the outside, not able to get through before Boomerang grabs lead. A pileup of Philly blockers as they reform around in the back. Boomerang attempts an apex jump, does not land it, and she's going to call it. 2 points were stolen by the Reservoir Dolls there.
You know, it's one thing to have someone like Boomerang to put in as a later jammer rotation addition, but to have one be able to come in and be that productive, that's just, I mean, that's a great feather in your cap. That's a great, an extra bullet to have, because it's not like, well, here's a body to take this space for a few minutes while we get some breathing. No, go out there and get us some points and do things. And now, nope. Unstoppable, being forced out on the inside. Juke Skywalker taking the high road on the outside of the track. Lead jam for Reservoir Dolls, trying to add to the 23-point lead that the Reservoir Dolls currently enjoy. But as we've learned, no lead is safe in this game.
Unstoppable, just ducking in the back of the pack, is going to grab 2 points to 1 for Reservoir Dolls. So a 2-1 jam in favor of Philly despite not having lead. But Reservoir Dolls 180 over Philly's 158. 9 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game.
Less than 10 minutes of Derby left to play here in the first game of day number 3. Philly coaches, I love, one of the best things about being right over here where we are is I love being behind the benches and being able to watch all the coaches interact. And there is Scooby Smack taking lead jam for Reservoir. Boomerang coming out hot.
Boomerang with the star in her hand just to try to keep people guessing. Scooby Smack is going to grab points and get out of there. That's going to be a 4-0 jam in favor of Reservoir Dolls, now 184 to Philly's 158.
So real talk, as a skater, what is the biggest advantage of why do skaters often take that and stash the star and hold it right?
You're doing 2 things. You're dividing the attention between the second you take off that helmet cover, the pivot becomes a factor. So you are watching for that pivot now, and you're watching for that jammer. And if you can divide the pack's attention even just a little bit, you have slightly more of an edge trying to get through. It doesn't always work, especially if you're a team that is constantly passing the star. Gotham in particular, their juniors were passing the star if they didn't get lead as a default. And it was really hard for them to be unpredictable.
Well, see, there you go. Those of you out there in the Derbyverse, leave it to Al B to ask the intriguing questions to the knowledgeable individuals that can give us answers.
Who is that?
Unstoppable now is the knowledgeable jammer on the track.
He is lead, drawn all the way back. Also drawn all the way back is TIE Fighter on the outside. But he comes in and immediately gives a nice little hit to his opponent on the track there. That's Frecklenator.
He is constantly moving, whether he's officiating or skating or whatever. He does not stop, and he's always, you can see his little brain working the whole time. He's just constantly thinking. He's a thinking man skater, a thinking skater, or something. He thinks a lot.
So there was a star pass initiated to Frecklenator, and this is, I believe, 8 points deep here for Philly, an 8-4 jam. And Frecklenator is through with additional points.
Unstoppable being recycled.
Nicely.
Again. Is that Psychotic Angel?
Yes. With the hit?
Yeah, not jamming. Yeah, Psychotic
Yes.
Angel doing a great job on Unstoppable and recycling with big hits a couple of times. Man.
Unstoppable's going to get 3 more points. Sorry, Reservoir Dolls are going to get, yes, 3 more points and a handful of points for Reservoir Dolls. They came out on top in that jam, 13-11. Reservoir Dolls now 197, Philly 169, 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, Psychotic Angel and Unstoppable battling back and forth that, and then afterwards you got to love the sportsmanship, giving each other a little high five and handshake going, that was legit. I mean, you like to get the best from your opponent and give them your best and just battle it out, whether you're doing whatever you're doing. And these athletes are with their sportsmanlike conduct. I just love junior roller derby.
We've got Tipsy Terror and Boomerang. Boomerang finding a line on the outside to become lead. Tipsy Terror shut down on the infield by Tomahawk. And that's going to be Scooby Smack headed to the penalty box. So now the pivot has been removed from play for Reservoir Dolls. Boomerang on a scoring run. is going to be grabbing 4 points. There was an out-of-play engagement assessed here against Reservoir Doll's blocker. And that is Juke Skywalker. Yep. So here's an opportunity for Boomerang.
Boomerang in typical Boomerang fashion, coming back around.
Nicely done. I got you.
I cracked myself up.
I'm kind of curious about why she called it or was told to call it, because she was definitely, her pack was doing a good job defensively holding the opposing jammer. So that's another team timeout. A good opportunity to talk about some of the folks on Twitter who have things to say using the hashtag #TalkToJRDA. S-Bear says, I love TIE Fighter. Ty is going to dominate in a few years. And you know what? I think he's dominating
he's
right
pretty much
now.
He's pretty much doing a good job now.
And then Julie Early on Twitter says, the Philly coaches are first class. I officiated a game for them and was impressed.
They are first class. That is absolutely correct. You know, someday you said TIE Fighter, but I have had there was MRDA questions that were directed to MRDA officials that are here this weekend that are volunteering in this event that was saying, this young ref, TIE Fighter, what is our bylaws about referees and ages? And actually that's, so he is already, people are already going, ooh, wow, you know, but unfortunately I think currently, but for insurance reasons, the ref,
he's not allowed to
be
skate.
18. And our response was then you might want to change insurance companies and work that out. That was our response to MRDA.
I understand why it is
I get
way, for sure. And Unstoppable is not lead. He's being called on a penalty, and I cannot see the call on that penalty. But lead jammer being assessed to Reservoir Doll's Death Wish. So this is a power jam in favor of Emerald City. And now more points being scored. That is a 5-point pass for Reservoir Dolls. Beautiful backwards through the pack from Death Wish, and Unstoppable had regained position on the track, and she decided to call it at that moment, but 10-0 in favor of Reservoir Dolls, really expanding their lead here.
Yeah, the largest lead of this contest so far now belongs to Reservoir Dolls with just 4 minutes left. But look, the way this is went, 4 minutes is plenty of time for Philly, and Philly has a lot of strong skaters on that. There are a lot of strong skaters on that Philly bench, so this game is far from over with 4 minutes left to go.
And one of those is Unstoppable, who says, I would like another chance to get lead, please. And he does. And sitting in the penalty box is Skinner. So this will be a power jam. Let me remind you that Unstoppable has had 2 27-point jams, a 20-point jam, and a 23-point jam already in this contest.
And now he's going to come and see what he can add on during this All About Derby power jam. All the power jams here at the 2017 JRDA Championships are sponsored by All About Derby.
So Skinner is standing. Unstoppable is going to push the pack forward, and Philly's going to default to D in the back on the far straightaway. That's going to be 5 more points. Apologies.
Why are you apologizing? See, it goes both ways.
Okay. You're right.
No, you're right.
No, you.
Stop it. Unstoppable with 5 more points now, shutting this lead down. We told you don't go anywhere. It's 212 to 196. 15 points so far for Unstoppable and Philly. And you got to know, you got to feel like the Philly coaches just were like, okay, that's okay. We got Unstoppable.
Now Unstoppable trying to take it slow and methodical here on his way through the pack. Pushing forward, gets some offensive help from Tomahawk at the front.
The thing he's doing that is very important is he's not getting, oh my gosh, we just got 2 minutes left, and he's not trying to get haphazard. He's taking it easy. He's, like you said, slow and methodical and just keeping the forward motion. Oh.
And that is going to be a high block assessed to a blocker from Reservoir Dolls. That is going to be 5 more points for Unstoppable with 8 seconds left, where there'll be additional points scored as he gets through the inside at turn 4. This has turned into a 30-point jam for Unstoppable, bringing this to a 1-point game. Reservoir Dolls 212, Philly 211, 1 minute and 40 seconds left.
My goodness. We tried to tell you the whole game. We just kept doing it. And once again, it's almost like Philly planned it. But now Reservoir Dolls coming back together. They're trying to see what's going on next. We have a 1-point game with 1 minute and 26 seconds. I would say it's possible that this is the last jam, but I don't see it with these two teams.
The Philly parents are on their feet.
The whole building just about. I know you and I were on our feet.
We kind of had to be because
we couldn't
Philly's bench was standing in front of us. But if they hadn't been, we probably would have been standing regardless.
It's funny is we really could just look at the monitor because we have the advantage of being able to see the same thing you all do. Not as big as your big screen TV that you're looking at, but we certainly have a screen right here in front of us so that we can see what you see. But it's something about live roller derby. You want to stand up and watch it over and get in the crowd.
I want to see a 30-point jam with my own eyes.
Exactly.
A 30-point jam that was scored after a 23-point jam, after a 20-point jam, and after 2 27-point jams.
Not that the cameraman is not doing a wonderful job making sure that we have a great venue advantage of it.
Hashtag watch party of 1.
He needs to do a selfie and hashtag watch party of 1.
So
there. That'd be classic.
Philly is choosing to put Unstoppable back on the track after a timeout. I might rest him, but if he says, yes, put me in, sure, but Scooby Smack, lead jammer for Reservoir Dolls. And so now Philly must default. And they're calling that a cutting the track penalty, but the skater that he cut was down. So I'm wondering if Philly might, unless they are saying that he cut multiple skaters of his own team, which I did not see. But Scooby Smack is able to open this a bit, and that's maybe why I would have not jammed Unstoppable, because he is tired, not because he's not amazing. Just give him a break, put some fresh legs in.
It's not like you don't have a whole lot of talent over there. They have a deep bench. I know how smart and derby smart that those coaches are, so I'm certainly not going to.
Nope, not at all. And here he comes back. And again, you're absolutely right. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Unstoppable as he comes back onto the track. And his Reservoir Dolls are not saying to call it yet, so Unstoppable on his way through the pack. That is his initial.
11-point lead for the Reservoir Dolls. Unstoppable coming back for a point pass.
And now I bet after the period clock expires, they're going to ask him to call it, which he does. And that is going to put Philly at the deficit in this game. Reservoir Dolls for the unofficial final will be in the lead. That was a very smart strategy by the Reservoir Dolls, and they look absolutely relieved. Unstoppable giving a nice shout out to his opposing jammer on his way back to the bench.
This, hats off to both of these teams. Man, if you're going to start, anybody that was thinking, oh, it's the 9-10 game,
or, oh, it's just JRDA.
If this, right?
No, and so when people say, again, I'm gonna finish this the exact same way I started it, which is when people say to me, oh, JRDA is the future of our sport. They are the right now. They are starting at the exact point that many of our adult leagues are starting, and they are learning it faster because they're younger and they're quicker.
If you look at most of the skaters, adult skaters like B and C teams, a lot of times in Tampa, we're lucky to have our both two leagues working a lot together. By the way, out there, your WFTD leagues, if you are not taking ownership, even if you're separate organizations, if you're not taking ownership of your junior league, you're doing this wrong. Because you go to our B and C team skaters in Tampa, and they'll skate against the juniors, and they'll just come out sore because these kids are ruthless. They don't get hurt. They're not scared at all because they're wiry and they just go. So
Yeah, helmets
these
off.
two teams.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
So a great game here from Philly and the Reservoir Dolls. Everyone should be extremely proud of themselves. Again, very much worth remarking. Unstoppable, a 30-point jam, a 23-point jam, a 20-point jam, and back-to-back 27-point jams in this game.
Unbelievable
alone.
numbers by Unstoppable and Philly, and the Reservoir Dolls just kept coming back, and then were able to close it out. Wow. Thank you again, Double H and
Thank you,
WFTDA TV, for coming. Thank of all of you for being out there watching us on WFTDA TV. Don't go anywhere because we got lots of Derby action coming up.
Right after this.
There you go.